If you got a good book and you're into a good story, you're going to have it with you wherever you are. If you get a chance, you can go in the bathroom and read another chapter or read a few lines just to kind of keep the story going. You'll find the time to read. Hi there, this is Dolly Parton, and I want to give Marie Claire a peek into my personal library. So welcome to Shelf Portrait. Well, this is me trying to knock stuff off my shelves because I kind of wanted to show some of the things that are on my shelf. Of course, I got a picture of my mom, dad, and me, and we got my husband, Carl, and my little dog, Popeye, from years ago. And of course, this special little piano is like a family heirloom. It really plays. I may write a song on that. But anyhow, these are just little ornaments and stuff that some of my favorite books that I scattered around. But seriously, I have hundreds and hundreds of books. I give books away, but it's so hard for me to give my books away. I just kind of like get selfish and hang on to them, especially ones that I love. I just go back and reread them. Here's a special book my sister Willadine wrote. It's called In the Shadow of Song, and it's a lot about our people too. So a lot of us write. I'm not the only creative person in this family, so I really love this little book, and I thought, well, I'll show that on my shelf. So anyhow, these are just fun little things, nothing major. I'm pretty simple. This book is called Oral History. It is by my favorite Southern writer, Lee Smith. And this book really hits home to me because it's really about Southern people. It's a wonderful story about families and love and romance and just the hard times that people go through. Lee Smith just tells a story in such a way that it just goes plumb deep into my soul and into my heart, and I just love her. And so if you have not read Lee Smith, you better get after it. People say, what's the book that you have read more than any other? Well, it would definitely have to be this. My mom started reading this to us before we had books in our house. This is the Holy Bible, the King James Version. Of course, I love the Old Testament and all those stories as well. But there's a lot of wisdom in here. I find a lot of strength and a lot of hope in reading the Bible. There's just something about the fact that it always seemed to anchor Mama. She always seemed to anchor us. So I know that there's a lot of wisdom in here that I can always draw from. So there's stuff that I look in here. I write a lot of songs from verses I find in the Bible. Even the Psalms I think are beautiful. I'm not trying to promote religion to anybody, but they ask me what are the books that I've read and that are meaningful to me. And this most definitely is. I bet you know this little book, right? It's The Little Engine That Could. This is by Waddy Piper, and this is the first book in the Imagination Library, my program where we give books to children. But this was also my favorite book when I was growing up, and it still is. And I often tell people there's a lot of wisdom in this little book, and I always say that I am a little engine that did. So this is a good book for everybody and anybody, and it just seems to last forever, and it's always on my shelf. My little nieces and nephews always say, hey, go read this book, and they love it. Well, people ask me a lot if I've ever written a book. Well, yes, I have. I've written several books. I've written a book called I Am a Rainbow. It's really about the moods of children and kind of explaining it's okay to feel anger, the red, and I kind of rhyme it all up. I've written a book called My Life and Other Unfinished Business that's several years old. So I do love to write, and I do have now my brand new book. It's called Songteller, My Life in Lyrics, and it really kind of tells stories, shows pictures of why and when I wrote the songs, what I was feeling when I wrote all the story songs, because I consider myself more than anything a songwriter, and I really love to tell stories because I love to read. So I thought Songteller was a good title for a book for me. So I hope to continue writing more books, and I know for a fact I'll be reading more books. Well, now this book, I bet you millions of people know. This is The Grapes of Wrath, and of course, who doesn't love John Steinbeck and all the wonderful things that he's written? And I started reading this again. I probably read this book 3 times in my life, but with all the craziness going on in the past year and all the hard times that people are having, I started kind of reading again a lot of the old classics, and this is one I picked up because I relate to the hard work and the poor people and the struggles and the times, but I just love this book. And there's just so much wisdom and so much feeling, so much heart and soul in books like this. Nothing like the old classics, really. Don't you agree? When I want to know about books, I contact my sisters. I say, you read a good book lately? Yeah, I've been saving you some. I've been saving you some. So friends and family, we kind of swap books back and forth. And I also like to read all the books on the New York Times bestseller list. I also like to go through Oprah's book club, Reese Witherspoon's, and Jenna Bush Hager's club. So there's a lot of good books out there. And usually the kind that just kind of word of mouth are the ones that are the best. Do you know Adriana Tregiani? She's another one of my favorite writers. She's Italian. She lives in the city, but she grew up in Cumberland Gap in the South. And this Big Stone Gap, I just love this, but she writes so many wonderful things. Some of them are about the South, some of them are not. She's really an all-around kind of writer, but she's a wonderful, wonderful writer. And anytime she puts a book out, I just love it. But this book is really a special one, and I think you will love that. Well, people ask me if I would do e-reader or hardcover. Well, I'm going to always pick a paperback book or a paper book because I just love the feel of books. I love the smell of books. I love to smell that ink. You know, I just love physically to touch a book. So even though I do sometimes when I'm flying, well, I'll read something, online or whatever, but I really think the Kindle don't stand up like a good hard book. Well, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to Marie Claire, and don't forget to read a book, especially one of mine, especially Songteller, My Life in Lyrics. Thank you.